Welcome back to Corner Stories. Please enjoy this video and don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. And now let's get on to story 1. I've been married to my husband for 2 years now. It's a first marriage for both of us. His family has been very good to me. They immediately accepted me, welcomed me in, started including me in family events, really made it not even a second thought to say yes when he proposed after a year of us being together. I noticed on social media that there are always likes from a teenage boy on posts that he puts up about me. I thought it was a bit weird that he's friends with a teenager, so I looked through the photos I could see on his profile. There are a few with my husband from about 8 to 10 years ago as well as another woman. When I asked my husband, he said that the boy is his ex-girlfriend's son. He explained that they were very serious but that she had ended up getting married to someone else. This seemed odd to me, so I asked my MIL about her the next time I saw her. My MIL rolled her eyes and said, "Don't even mention Val. I am so glad that you came along, because that girl was so bad for him. She was unemployed, a single mother, and just very trashy. We never would have accepted her. I am very successful career-wise and well-established, my family is very prominent in the community and well-regarded." The more I thought about it, the more it really felt like my background had more to do with things than anything. I asked my husband about Val again and asked if he would have married her if not for his family. He said that one of the biggest reasons she chose someone else was because his family refused to accept her. When I asked what was different about me, he responded, "She was Camilla and you're Diana." I asked him if that meant he would marry her if anything happened to me. He shook his head, laughed, and said I was being ridiculous and that he didn't think like that. I told him I wanted him to remove and block his ex and her son from his social media immediately and to stop communicating with them. He's told me that he has a cordial relationship with both of them and that he doesn't feel it's fair of me to ask him to cut them out. Is there a good way for me to deal with this knowledge? I'm losing sleep over the fact that I feel like a placeholder that is there to please his family and that he'll go back to her once his parents are gone. I'm starting to doubt every interaction I ever had with him. When I bring it up to him, he gets upset and tells me to stop dwelling on his past. I wish that I'd never known this because I feel like all of my happiness has been drained. Is there a good way to approach this? UITAH. Thank you to everyone who responded to my previous post. A lot has gone down since I posted, and not much of it has been good to be honest. I'm starting to wish that I'd let well enough alone, but I guess I'm stuck now. So I sat down with my husband and told him that this whole Val thing was really bothering me, that I'd never heard her name before for someone he held in such high regard. He explained that she had cheated on him and had married the guy she cheated with. They stopped speaking for a while but they started being cordial again as she was having problems in her marriage and through her divorce. He swears on his life that there's only friendship there, that he can't ever forgive her, and that he has no interest in her romantically anymore. We share location history on our phones, and have cameras on our house, so I know he's not lying about seeing her. My husband was my first in a lot of ways. Everything except my first kiss. So I tend to be a bit more jealous than others. My husband has more of a past and it makes me very uncomfortable even though I know it's a reality that I have to accept. I'm also diagnosed as on the autism spectrum, so I tend to be socially awkward and miss certain cues, which caused me not to really have close relationships up until him. I was over at my parents' house telling my mother about Val. She kept telling me not to worry, that everyone has a past, and that he obviously chose me. Little background, my father is a girl dad. I'm the third of 4 girls. He's been my protector my whole life, and he will go after anyone that hurts me. Dad overheard Mom and me, and came into the kitchen. "Are you serious right now? He's talking to Val again? I'm going to him." I asked my father how he knew about Val. I looked at my mother and she was looking at him with a horrified look. He said he overheard us, and it's not right for him to talk to other women. They tried to talk around it but I demanded an answer and they finally relented. My mother admitted that they had arranged my marriage. We'd been seeing each other for a month and I met his parents. Shortly after, his mother called mine, explained about Val, how they were afraid he would go back to her, and how they wanted to do everything they could to make sure that their son married the right girl. I asked my mother why she agreed, and she admitted that they were afraid I was gay and that I wouldn't ever have children. She said that's why my husband was immediately invited to every holiday. That's why he was introduced to multiple relatives in a very short time. That's why they referred to him as family before he proposed. They were trying to set the tone in my mind. My head was spinning. I told them I had to go and I couldn't talk to them anymore. I drove home and felt like I couldn't breathe. I walked into our house and told my husband everything. He laughed. He actually laughed. He told me that he'd figured it out a while ago and thought I had too. He told me that his parents paid for me to go on vacation with them. They made a point of getting everyone in the family to share how much they liked me. They gave him extra gift certificates to take me out to dinner and other events. His mother cleaned his apartment and did all of his laundry while he was at work, so his nights and weekends were free for me. When he said he was going to save the money for a ring, they gave it to him. And they kept telling him what a good match I was for him. He asked his parents while we were engaged if it had been the plan to keep him away from Val, and his mother admitted that it had been. He told me that he fell in love with me while we were together, what he feels for me is real, and that he loves the life we have together. He said it doesn't matter how it started because what we have is strong and real. I don't know how I feel. I can't even talk to anyone because I'm apparently the only person who didn't know this happened. I feel like such an idiot. I am furious with his parents for doing this, furious with mine for going along with it, and hurt that he didn't tell me the truth once he figured it out. I do not know if I want a divorce. My husband has been trying very hard to be supportive of me. I've told him I don't feel like talking. He keeps asking me if he can get me anything and asking me little questions to try to get me to talk, but I can't even get my feelings straight right now. I feel betrayed by every person who is supposed to care about me, and I have no idea what the hell to do now. Comments: I'm not from a culture where arranged marriages are a norm, so please forgive my ignorance on any protocols. Nor am I. I was the last of my siblings to get married, and up until that point I had never seriously dated anyone. My parents are conservative white Christian Republicans. There are few things worse that I could be to them. My husband and I both make six figures. Money is not an issue at all. For the first time in my life I told someone I loved him and believed I had actually built something real with someone. Was it all a lie? Is this all some sick joke on me? Am I only good as someone's placeholder? They broke up 9 years ago, she dated someone else, married him, and has since divorced. From what I understand, she started seeing this other person because he wouldn't commit to her. Story 2. A bit of background: I'm a 29-year-old man who met my girlfriend, a 27-year-old woman, when we both moved to a new town for work about a year ago. We hit it off right away and have been together ever since. Her family is Portuguese, and from the beginning, I've made efforts to be involved and get to know them, despite the language barrier. I've met her family several times, and on the surface, they've always been nothing but welcoming and nice to me. However, they have a habit of speaking Portuguese around me, which I initially didn't mind because I understood it was their first language and it made them comfortable. Wanting to connect with them on a deeper level and surprise my girlfriend, I recently began learning Portuguese. At a recent family dinner, my new language skills unexpectedly revealed a hurtful reality. As I listened, I realized they were talking about me in derogatory terms, calling me dumb, among other insults, right in front of me, all while smiling and acting friendly. From what I've gathered, my girlfriend understands what's being said but doesn't seem to join in on the insults. However, she hasn't done anything to stop it either, occasionally trying to hide her reactions or snickers. I feel betrayed and humiliated and am questioning the integrity of our relationship and her loyalty to me. I'm at a crossroads and unsure how to address this situation. Confronting her family directly seems daunting, especially considering the language barrier and not wanting to cause a rift. However, I also feel that I can't simply ignore such disrespect, and I'm concerned about what this means for the future of our relationship, especially if we were to have a family of our own. Should I confront my girlfriend about her family's behavior and express how hurtful it is to me? How can I navigate this situation in a way that respects my relationship with her but also stands up for myself? Any insights, experiences, or suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Relevant comments: if she's not standing up for you, she's not much of a partner. It doesn't sound like she's scared of them or anything. You could calmly tell her that you didn't want to spoil it, but you've been learning the language, and you're disappointed at the way she and her family talk about you. But what could she say that would excuse it? If you want to be petty, you could wait until they insult you at the next dinner and respond in Portuguese: thanks for the food, and this dumb guy is gonna see himself out, and it was nice knowing you all. I just don't understand being this rude and frankly cruel. You sound like a nice person. OP, I think though even if I tell her, I know it does not change how I feel about her because she still did not stand up for me and allowed it to happen without telling me. Update: February 26, 2024. This past Sunday, we visited her family again, and not surprisingly, the pattern of rude comments continued. This time, they called me dumb, among other things, and everyone laughed. I laughed along with them and then asked them to pass the salad in Portuguese. I could see the awareness and embarrassment spreading across the table one by one. I guess you don't make friends with salad. The dinner that followed was inevitably awkward. No one made a scene, but the atmosphere was tense. On the way home, I told my girlfriend that I wanted to break up. To my surprise, she didn't even ask why, which only confirmed my decision was the right one. Given that we both moved to this town for work and were living in a company-supplied rental, I reached out to our HR department to explain my situation. They were understanding and agreed to arrange a separate place for me. In the meantime, I'm staying at a hotel until everything is sorted out. I honestly feel empty about it now, empty inside. It's been a roller coaster and now there's sort of nothing. Maybe I will feel better tomorrow. Update 2, I spent today packing my things and she spent it crying. Difficult day for both of us. Thank you for all of the comments and support and messages. I will update in here tomorrow, but I need to rest right now. It has been very difficult to process. Relevant comments. Reasonable Major 1678, did she explain why she didn't stand up for you? OOP, in her defense, she has a very dominating family and is not a confrontational person. I don't expect her to have stood up for me, maybe I should, but I would have expected her to tell me at least. Top comments. Little, that was a pretty baller way to call them out, bro. You don't understand how perfectly you handled this. Yeah, they suck, but that doesn't reflect you. Their meanness was not deserved on your part. I'm glad you knew your value enough to end things with your GF. You deserve better. Just imagine sitting with your family and saying horrible things in another language. Awful. Story 3. Before my 18M brother, 19, went to uni, we had a massive argument. I just discovered that he slept with my, now ex-girlfriend. She confessed to me, which led to me breaking up with her. He claimed it was a one-time mistake and meant nothing, but I still told him I no longer want to see him again. He lives with our mom while I live with dad. Later that day, mom visited. Said that he kept his pent-up anger and then unleashed it at uni, where he kicked a campus cat. That led to him getting punched by someone who studies at the same faculty. She then told me that I should visit, also adding that it was my fault. At that point I just laughed. It was an incredulous laughter, rather than one born out of amusement. Mom narrowed her eyes at me and said I shouldn't be indifferent to how she is feeling. Update, same post. 4 hours later I sent her the following text: alright, mom. I'm sorry. I held him accountable for what he did. And I'm also sorry that that guy at his uni held him accountable. Relevant comments, why exactly did your brother have pent-up anger? What was said on your part? Is something missing? He was angry since I told him I don't want to see him again. Said that I was overreacting. Update post, 20 days later, so some of you said that he was lucky to get only one punch for kicking the cat. Well, my mom just called me. He has been beaten up twice for it since then. No sympathy for him though. She still wanted me to visit, so I told her no, and when she insisted I blocked her. We are now no contact. That is where we will end this video. I just want to say I hope that poor little cat is okay, and I hope the brother gets beat up again. I absolutely hate people who abuse animals. I'm also glad that OP blocked his mom. She seems like an enabler.